You ever notice someone giving you that look? You know the one. You walk into a room, haven't said a word, haven't done anything, and someone's already decided they don't like you. Their eyes narrow, their energy shifts, and you're standing there thinking, what did I do? The answer? Absolutely nothing. But here's the thing. When people hate you for no reason, it's rarely about you. It's about them. And the psychology behind it? Way more fascinating than you think. Let's start with the mirror effect. Picture this. You're confident. You speak your mind. You don't apologize for taking up space. There's always someone who can't stand it. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're reflecting back everything they wish they could be. You're walking around being unapologetically yourself, and they're over there suffocating under the weight of everyone else's expectations. You remind them of their own limitations, their own fear, their own silence. And instead of dealing with that uncomfortable feeling, their brain does something way easier. It turns you into the problem. You become the villain in a story you didn't even know you were part of. This is called projection, and it's one of the most common reasons people dislike you without cause. They're not seeing you. They're seeing a version of themselves they've been running from. And that makes people angry. Then there's the threat you didn't ask to be. Maybe you're good at something. Maybe you're naturally charismatic. Maybe people just like you. Then there's someone who feels invisible when you're around. It's not that you're trying to outshine them. You're just existing. But in their mind, your presence dims their light. Psychologists call this social comparison theory. Humans are wired to measure themselves against others, and when someone feels like they're losing that comparison, resentment creeps in. You didn't compete. You didn't even enter the race. But they put you there anyway. And now, every time you succeed, every time someone compliments you, every time you laugh a little too easily, it feels like a personal attack to them. So they begin to dislike you. Not because of who you are, but because of who they're afraid they're not. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Some people hate you because you're unfamiliar. You don't fit the mold. You talk differently. You think differently. You don't follow the unspoken rules everyone else seems to live by. And that makes people uncomfortable. There's a psychological concept called the mere exposure effect, which basically says people prefer what they know. The familiar feels safe. The unfamiliar feels threatening. So when you show up being different, not trying to blend in, not dimming yourself down, some people's brains go into defense mode. They don't trust what they don't understand. And instead of getting curious, instead of asking questions, they just reject you. It's not personal. It's primal. Their brain is doing what it's been doing for thousands of years, protecting them from the unknown. You just happen to be it. And then there's the guilt trigger. Ever notice how some people can't stand being around you after they've wronged you? Maybe they gossiped about you. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they just treated you poorly and never apologized. And now, every time they see you, they feel that little stab of guilt. But guilt is uncomfortable. So instead of owning it, their brain flips the script. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're too sensitive. You're holding grudges. You're making them feel bad just by existing. This is called cognitive dissonance. Their actions contradicts their self-image, so their mind has to reconcile that. And the easiest way? Make you the bad guy. That way, they don't have to sit with the uncomfortable truth that maybe, just maybe, they were wrong. Sometimes, people hate you because you remind them of someone else. An ex, a parent, a bully from high school. You might have the same laugh, the same confidence, the same way of speaking. and their brain makes a connection you had nothing to do with. Psychologists call this transference, when emotions meant for one person get redirected onto another. You're just living your life, but in their mind, you've become a stand-in for someone who hurt them. And now you're carrying baggage that was never yours to hold. It's not fair, but it's human. Here's the truth. When people hate you for no reason, it's almost never about you. It's about their pain, their fear, their insecurity, their unresolved past. You're just the mirror they don't want to look into, the reminder of what they're not, the unfamiliar thing their brain doesn't trust, the guilt they won't acknowledge. And sometimes, you're just the wrong person at the wrong time, triggering something you didn't even know was there. So the next time someone gives you that look, that energy, that inexplicable coldness, remember this. Their hatred says more about them than it ever could about you. You don't need to shrink. You don't need to apologize for being yourself. Because the right people, they'll love you for the exact reasons the wrong ones can't stand you. Which one resonates with you? Have you ever felt hated for no reason? Or maybe you've caught yourself projecting onto someone else? Think about it. And if you found this helpful, if it made you see things a little differently, hopefully you hit that subscribe button.